I just want to ask you, when you do all these things, you play with your, play the guitar with your teeth. Is that by inspiration only?
You know, if I feel like putting the guitar down and stepping on it, you know, I'll do it if I feel like it, you know.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, we goofed around. You know, there's so many different things we do. Nothing is never the same each night. Even if it's a bad night or a good night, everything's always different because it's more improvised. You know, we're almost like a free feeling. You know, free feeling, and everything we do is like playing with our teeth or with our elbows and all that. It's just like because we feel like it right that particular moment.
You are supposed to be something very new and very fresh in pop business. How do you feel about that yourself?
There's so many different outlets. You know, we have so many different things. Like Hey Jules, it's about 100, you know, of our feelings. We like it. That's why we recorded it. You know, but we have so many different other sounds. You know, that we haven't even. We just barely begun.
Welcome to Sweden, Jimi Hendrix.
Well,
And congratulations to your great success out here in Stockholm.
thank you very much.
What about the stage, by the way?
Oh yeah, well, it's like when we played it yesterday. You know, who was at Timpani Garden?
Yes.
Well, you know, the PA system was very bad, and the audience didn't really help us too much. You know.
It's tough out there.
Yes, you know, they didn't help us too much, but I think it was all right later on. And the second job we did later on that night was very, very good.
I suppose you would feel much better to work indoor, like, for example, when I've been watching you at the Savile.
Oh yeah, it's a little easier working indoor. You know, it's all right working outside if the PA system is, you know, all right. You know, if the amplifiers and everything is, you know, set up nice.
What about the effects of lightning and things you can use indoor in a place?
Oh yes, it's better. Like first at the Savile, you know, we used. I had this gadget on the guitar that every time I hit a certain note, you know, the lights would go up. You know.
Yeah. But for the rest of it now, your plans for the future, you're going, for example, to the States. You're planning a big international representation thing.
Yeah, we're going to the States around, I think we're going to leave about the 10th or the 12th of June. And, you know, we're going to play at the Monterey Pop Festival. And then we have about 4 days at the Fillmore Auditorium. And then, you know, you have this TV and all this other stuff in between.
That's for today and for the future, but how did you really get started?
Well, anyway, I was in the Army for about 13 months, you know, because I got tired of that. It was very boring. And so I pretended that I hurt my back, you know, and I really did break my ankle, so I got out like that, you know. And so I started playing around all over the South. You know, we had a band in Nashville, Tennessee, and I got tired of playing in that because, you know, they don't want to move anywhere. They just want to stay there. So I started traveling around. I went to New York and won first place in the Apollo Amateur Contest, you know, $25. So I stayed up there, starved up there for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then I got Isley Brothers asked, you know, the Isley Brothers, with the twisting shop, asked if I like to, you know, play with them. So I played with them for a while and got very bored, you know, because you get very tired of playing behind other people all the time, you know.
Yeah, you got to keep to the routine of the act.
So then I quit them in Nashville somewhere. And went with this guy who was on a tour with B.B. King, Jackie Wilson, and Sam Cooke, you know, and all these people, Chuck Jackson. So I was playing guitar behind a lot of the acts on the tour. And then I got stranded in Kansas City because I missed the bus, you know. So I was in Kansas City, Missouri, and didn't have any money. And so, you know, this group came up and brought me back to Atlanta, Georgia, where I met Little Richard and I started playing with him for a while.
How long about?
Oh, I guess I played with him for about 6 months, I guess. About 5 or 6 months. And I got tired with that, you know, we played some shows with Ike and Tina Turner. Then I went back to New York and played with King Curtis and Joy D. You know, I was playing, but all the time I was playing behind these different groups. And I played with this little rhythm blues group named Curtis Knight and the Squires. And I made a few records, you know, arranged a few songs for him. And I just got tired, man. I just couldn't stand anymore. So I just went down to the village and got my own little group together named the Rainflowers, you know.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 names, the Rainflowers and the Blue Flame, you know. any one of those names was all right, you know. So, you know, then Chess, you know, I was going with this girl, you know, I had this girlfriend from England that I met in one of the clubs in New York, and she told Chess about me because Chess, you know, the Animals were playing in Central Park. So he came down and heard me, you know, and asked would I like to come over to England and start a group over here. Over to England, I said, yeah, you know. So I come over to England and meet Mitch and Noel, you know, Noel really the bass player, and Mitch was the drummer. You know, we put our own arrangement, or, you know, we got it our own way and did it.
Actually, you just didn't pick up those two guys, I suppose. They played somewhere else before.
Yeah, Mitch Mitchell, yeah, he used to play with the Georgie Fame, the Blue Flames. And Noel Redding used to be in a group named The Loving Kind and the Burnett's, you know. And he used to play guitar until he came down, you know. He came down for the audition for the New Animals with his guitar, you know. And Chess asked him to play the bass, try playing the bass, you know. So he's been playing bass ever since. And it's worked out, you know, perfect. And Mitch, he's about the best out of about 20 drummers we heard, you know.
I suppose before you really recorded Hey Joe, you did a lot of club jobs in London.
No, we didn't do too much. You know, I couldn't work too much because I didn't have a work permit. So what they had to do was line up a lot of gigs. So when we did one of the first jobs we ever did was we had about 4 hours practice. And Johnny Halliday asked would we like to come to, you know, play at the Paris Olympia with him, and we did. After being together only about 4 days, and after having about 4 hours of practice, you know. And so,
you went there and...
Yeah, so we came back, you know, we recorded Hey Joe around December. You know, but we couldn't work too much because of the, you know, I had to get enough jobs to have a long work permit so I could stay in England longer.
And then things really started to happen, and really you found another song. You didn't find it because you wrote it.
Yeah. All the other ones, you know, on the new LP and, you know, the last 2 records I wrote myself. You know, we write all our own stuff now.
How do you get the ideas of songs, for example, like Purple Haze?
I don't know.
Some people say it's a bit of Dylan in some of your lyrics. Well, if you think of Mary with the traffic lights turning blue, and
well,
do you think that's right to compare you to Dylan in that?
Well, you know, whatever they want to do, you know, because I don't know who I seem like, you know, because I've been living with myself for about 21 years, so I don't know really, you know, so, you know, I don't care who they compare me with, actually.
But when you write a line like that, for example,
I don't think
you've got
nobody else.
a deep meaning behind it, or is it just
well, like the traffic lights turn to blue tomorrow, that means like tomorrow everything's going to be, you know, blue. Blue means feeling bad, you know. In other words, like, first, if you do your everyday things, like go across the street or something like that, instead of the traffic lights being red and green, well, there's be blue, because, you know, in your mind, yeah, because it's just another story about a breakup, you know, just a girl and boy breaking up, that's all. And, you know, you just say one thing and, excuse me, like you say something like that, but you mean, you know, you just mean something else, you know. There's no hidden meaning, it's just the way you say it. You just express the words.
What would you call it yourself?
I don't know, this is a slow song, that's what I call it.
A slow song. And
slow, quiet.
You got an LP for release in Sweden in about a week's time.
Yeah, I hope so. His name, Are You Experienced? And, you know, it has about 3 or 4 different moods. It has a little, you know, rock and roll. It has about 2 rock and roll songs, which you can call rock and roll, you know. And then it has maybe, you know, it has a blues, and it has a few freak out tunes, you know.
You're not playing psychedelic music anymore.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 in there. There's the one named Are You Experienced is one. You know, that's the name of the, there's a last track on the LP. It's like a, you know, imaginary, free-form song where you just use your mind, where you just imagine with your mind, you know. And this other song named Third Stone from the Sun, it's completely imaginable, you know. It's just about these cats coming down and taking over Earth. But then they find out they don't really see anything here that's worth taking, you know, except for chickens, you know.
And this thing about Transylvania and...
what do you mean, like vampires and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, that isn't nothing like that. It's just like the third stone from the sun, it lasts about 7 minutes. And it's instrumental on these guys coming from another planet, And third stone from the sun is Earth, That's what it is. They have Mercury, Venus, and then Earth. And they, observe Earth, for a while. And they think that the smartest animal on the whole Earth is chickens, hens. And so they just, there's nothing else here to offer. They don't like the people so much, so they just blow it up at the end, So you have all these different sounds. But all of them are made from this, nothing but a guitar, bass and drums, and then slowed down voices,
Tell us one thing. After watching you, for example, the sound for the introduction of Wild Thing, the plane crash and all what you can describe it like. How do you really get that sound?
Well, it's just, I just turn the amp up very loud, and it's mostly feedback, and the way you control the knobs. And the back, because I play a Fender Stratocaster guitar, and you can take the back off, a little small plate, and you can tap the springs. There's little springs back there, and it makes these weird little sounds sometimes.
Because some other tricks as well, of course, and aren't you a bit fed up playing, like picking with your teeth and?
Well, I do this when I feel like it, I don't consider myself that I have to do it, But sometimes we don't do it at all. It's just when I feel like doing it.
Because the audience might expect it from you, really.
Yeah, but, as I try to get straight to them now, that it's best not to expect anything from us, It's just best just to go on as it is, because if you expect something, then you might not see it. Then quite naturally you're going to be disappointed,
Some people say, for example, playing with your teeth, that you are also helping with your hands, your fingers, at the same time.
No. It's like playing with your hands like this. You have to move this finger in order to make the notes. So when I just, instead of picking it with my, with my left hand, I just pick with my teeth. That's all,
And also the guitar, it really seems like it was playing by itself at times. You just keep your...
that's when you play with one hand.
Yeah, with one hand.
How did you feel to be back after a successful year in England?
It was very nice, It was very good to go back,
What do you think of your chances in America?
It'll be all right, It's gonna be all right, just like over here now. It's, it's just, America's just like any other country. It just takes a little more time, that's all.
Your experiences here as well. Mitch, the drummer. Before you joined the group, what were you doing then?
I was working with a band in England, a guy called Georgie Fame.
Noel on bass guitar. What's your background?
Long hair. No. Nothing really. I've just been professional for 4 years, jogging around. I was in Germany for a year. That's about all.
How did you get together, Mitch?
Well, Georgie broke up the band. It was the Blue Flames, and that finished. And then, I had some other plans, already. But 2 days after the Blue Flames broke up, Chaz Charlo, who's our manager, phoned me up and told me about Jimi. He said he'd arrived in the country, and would I like to go down and have a play with him? And, to cut a long story short, that's what happened. I went and had a play, and it works out.
Well, we have read about it in the papers. Can you tell us what made you quit the Monkees tour in States?
Well, the organisers were getting some nasty letters from parents and things. It's something to do with some silly association called the Mothers of...
Daughters
of the Mothers of the Backwards or something. But it's a load of thing, really, because they thought we were obscene for little girls.
Well, it wasn't the kids, it was like the parents. Because the average age of a Monkees fan is 9 years old, and the parents were taking them. And the kids were crazy, they were really digging it. But it's like all the parents got very uptight about it and thought we shouldn't be allowed.
Any tension between you and the Monkees?
No, not at all.
You spent almost 3 months in America. What were you doing the rest of the time, Jimmy?
Rest of the time we went. What was that?
Since you left this tour.
Oh, yeah. What, you mean, to go to the States, you mean?
No, when we finished on the tour with the Monkees.
Oh, nothing, we just... we had a few days off, so then, because we had about the average of about 300 gigs, 300 jobs offered to us. So then we did the Fillmore, in different little places, like Washington, D.C., and some Cafe Go-Go in the village of New York. And
Hollywood Bowl, man.
Yeah, Hollywood Bowl in Central Park, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Burning on the Midnight Lamp, your latest release, was it recorded and written in America?
Yeah, we did it in New York. Yeah, we did it in New York, didn't we? Right. Yeah.
What about the future? What's your next step now?
We're going to be working on LPs. We're going to take a vacation, you know, right after this Scandinavian tour. We're going to be working on an LP when we come back. And probably, you know, another single or something like that, you know.
Jimi, how did you get the idea of Burning on the Midnight Lamp?
It just came to me, you know. That's all, you know, just... Like, when we was recording our last album, LP, you know, it's to mess around. I can't play no piano, you know, or harpsichord, but anyway, I just picked up these different little notes, you know, and it started from there. Because every time we had an intermission, you know, a rest or something like that, then I'd play this little tune on the harpsichord. So we decided to record it after about 6 months of messing around with it.
Lyrics?
Well, you know, it's very personal. You know, you don't mean for the lyrics to be personal all the time, but it is, so, you know. I was playing behind different acts, like, you know, like, what is it, Little Richard, Isley Brothers, you know, and some shows with Tina Turner, and Hank Ballard, you know, Chuck Jackson, the regular top 40 R&B. And, you know, you get kind of tired of playing the same songs all the time. And so I was, you know, went down to the Village in New York, Greenwich Village, and they had a little group together down there in the Rainflowers. And then we changed it about 1,000 times, you know. And then Chess came down one time because they was playing in Central Park Festival. And they came down and heard us and asked if I'd like to come to England, you know. So I said, yeah, you know, yeah, I'd like to come. So we came over here, you know.
Did you believe, when you got into the studio first, let's say like Hey Joe, you got into the studio, were you sure that this is gonna be a smash record?
Yeah, well, you know, Chess was sure, you know, but me, it's the first time I ever tried to sing, you know, on a record, actually, you know.
People who've been watching you on stage, they say you put on a tremendous act. Unfortunately, I haven't seen you. This I have to do to a later point. I hope I get a free ticket someday. I can't afford to. Now, what do you feel? What is going on once you hear your music and once you sing? Are you putting on an act, as you say, or do you feel these motions, what you do with your hands or feet, or...
Well, yeah, quite naturally you have to feel it, you know, or at least, you know, we mostly feel it, you know. Because, like, if you see our show, for instance, once every night for about a week, you know, it'll probably be very different, you know, probably, you know, because it's a different mood you might be in, you know, and the way the music might hit you, you know, it's very, very emotional, like.
Now, Mitch, can we have your background story? Where were you born?
Yeah, I was born in London, and you want to know about the music scene?
Yes. Do you speak any Cockney?
No, not to my knowledge, anyway. Noel, our bass player, does a bit.
Is that common for people who, for instance, Berlin and London have one thing in common. The Berliner, they have an accent, you know,
yeah,
and when
right.
they talk, so I always think of London that the people certainly must talk Cockney. They don't.
I don't. Well, some do, but I think I'm sort of influenced by everyone, you know, sort of hear things, you know, different expressions. You just pick out what you want.
Mitch, how did you meet Jimi Hendrix?
Well, the band I was working with before, that was Georgie Fame. They broke up, and Chaz phoned me up and said Jimmy had arrived in the country, and would I like to sort of go and have a play with him? And I went along, and we had a play. Noel had just started playing bass, because he was just a lead guitarist before, you know. And we had a play, and it seemed to work out. And from there onwards, well, that's it.
Did you like it immediately, or you saw it grow on gradually?
I don't know. It was a bit sort of. It was so different. I went down. I'd never seen a guitarist play with his teeth before, you know, like Jimmy. And I thought maybe it was just a sort of gimmick, but after working with him for about a week, you realise, you know, and it's just sort of it's worked out.
What are your hobbies?
Music.
Yeah, any kind of music?
Well, modern jazz, really.
How come you speak German?
Oh, I played in Germany for a year before I joined Jimi with another group, you see, in Frankfurt and Cologne.
So this city is nothing new.
Oh, no.
It's nothing new to you.
No.
Now, back to the experience. Where and how do you meet Jimi?
Well, I was wandering around London with nothing at all. I heard there was an audition going on for the New Animals. I was a guitarist then. I went down there. I played the
With the Animals, excuse me.
Yeah, the New Animals, you know. And I went down there, and Chaz was there. He said, "Can I play bass?" I said, "No." He said, "Here's a bass." So I played it. I got a job. That was 6 months ago, and I've been playing bass ever since with Jimi.
And you gladly took this chance to change.
Oh, yeah.
Are you really satisfied?
Oh, yeah, it's...
Could you find an explanation why work and make music with Jimi is such a great experience?
Well, we all fit together so well. The ideas are the same. Just sort of rave and that.
Mm-hmm. What is there any name for the sound of music you perform?
No, I don't think so. It's just our idea of music. Everyone says it's different.
It's not rhythm and blues.
No, because Jimi likes rhythm and blues, Mitch likes jazz, and I like rock and roll. So it's a mixture of everything, completely, and the sound comes out good.
Sorry to interrupt. Really.
No.
Jimi, you probably could explain why is it necessary to have long hair or to be dressed up in a most, let's say, peculiar way?
Well, I don't consider it actually necessary, because there's a lot of groups around, like, for instance, there's a lot of pop stars around, like Engelbert and Humperdinck, and Cat Stevens and all the beautiful people, they don't necessarily have to have long hair. It's just, me myself personally, and I believe this, goes for the other cats too, is, I dig it, I think it's very nice, especially in your own style. And, as far as the clothes goes, well, anything I see that I like, regardless of what it looks like, or regardless, how much it costs, if it costs only 2 shillings, I'll get it if I like it, or if it, if it would suit me or something.
Let's make a great big jump now. I've been watching a live show of a beat band, and the audiences was going mad. How do you explain this feeling? What if I would ask you, what is going on in these kids at that particular minute? Is this some sexual involvement, or what is it that they rave themselves nearly to? They shout that some of them have to be carried out of the room.
That's beautiful, I think, It's good to see people enjoy themselves, regardless of what it is. What I believe it might be is, just like you said, it might have something to do with sex, That's the idea of somebody being on stage and maybe playing an instrument or singing and, showing themselves and, bowing down and all this. And the idea of the people sitting down knowing that they can't really touch them then, but they would like to, It's a frustrated feeling, but it's a good feeling, They probably don't get a chance to scream all year until this one time, and then they let everything out then, This is a chance to let it out.
Now, you could tell us the difference between a normal beat sound and what these people, like for instance, the Supremes are trying to do, the Detroit people. What is Detroit sound?
Well, to me, this might bring you down or something like that, but anyway, to me, it's like it's an artificial, very, very commercial and very, very electronic made, very, what is a synthetic soul sound? It isn't the real sound of any, like Negro artists singing, It's so commercial, it's so put together, so beautifully that I don't feel anything from it, except maybe the Isley Brothers are the only ones that, and maybe the Four Tops. But as far as the rest, this is my own opinion, And all they do is put a very, very hard beat to it, you know, very good beat. They put about 1,000 people on tambourines and these bells, you know, and they got 1,000 horns, 1,000 violins, and then a singer, he overdubs his voice millions of times, or a singer in an echo chamber full of this and that. And it comes out, you know, to me, it comes out so artificial that, you know, but far as, you know, it has a very good beat and it sounds very good, you know, it's very commercial for the younger people.
What's your recipe for good interpretation?
Well, you know, it's very primitive, but, you know, it's more like a real foundation thing. It's more like where you can imagine, or it's more of a free form type of thing. Not exactly necessarily what we're doing, you know, not trying to build up our own type of music, but saying that, you know, that's why I hope we work up towards this point. It's more of a free style. As a where a person, yeah, quite naturally has to have a nice beat, but as a where a person can, like, feel almost in the music, you know? How can you feel in the music when you hear every single song come out with the same beat and it's so synthetic, you know? Synthetic soul is what I call Motown.
Do you have any feelings towards classic music?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful, but I don't listen to it all the time, you know? But I would like to, you know, like at the most relaxing time. See, different music is supposed to be used different ways. You're supposed to, you know, appreciate music. And like, we're in the bright day, you know, and noise and all that, excuse me, and noise and everything. Well, then I don't figure that's the best time to listen to classical. I believe it's any time when it's very quiet or your mind is very relaxed. You know, you feel like daydreaming maybe or something, and then you can turn it on stereo, you know.
Particularly for the younger generation, like the kids always think it's just as easy, grab a guitar, go on stage and make music. Could you tell them a little bit that it's not as easy as all, you know, that we can build it up a little bit, that they learn is the most important thing, you know, tell them a little bit. In music and in show business generally, it is very something like. Now, is it very easy to just grab a guitar, go on stage and...
No, it was so, well, you know, it was so very hard to me because at first, man, I was so scared. I wouldn't dare go on stage. No, you know, like I joined this band, I knew about 3 songs. And when it was time for us to play on stage, man, I was, you know, like this, you know. And then I had to play behind the curtains, you know. I couldn't get up in front. So and then, plus you get so very discouraged. You hear different bands playing around you, and the guitar player seems like it's always so much better than you are, you know. And then most people give up at this point because, you know, they get very discouraged. But it's best not to be, you know, just keep on. If you're very stubborn, you can, you know, make it. That's the only way I'm, you know, try to make it. It's being very persistent.
There has been story in various magazines about Reprise or the Sinatra company buying you. What's true about this?
Well, this is a regular deal that they make most of the time. We just got, you know, a nice sum of money. It is no bind. You know, it's just a contract, and then they give us advanced royalties. In other words, they trust in us as to where they can give us money before we make any money for them. You know.
Jimmy, what would be your greatest wish if I could, let's say, it would be possible for me to fulfill a wish of yours? Which wish would you take?
Oh, I wish you could send me home, you know, and so I could see my parents for about 3 days, you know.
How long haven't you been home?
Well, about 5.5 years. They don't know what's happening at all, except I called them 2 times. Once, when I first came here to England, was about 7 months ago. And then once a few days ago when we was in London. And I told him, I said, well, you know, we have 3 records out. And he said, yeah. He didn't know nothing about it. He didn't know I was singing, you know. Because I wasn't, you know, I was too scared to sing. Chess made me sing. Serious. Oh, yeah, by the way, would you care for a banana?
A banana?
Yeah.
In diesem Augenblick, liebe Fans, holt Jimi Hendrix eine Banane aus der Tasche, die er jetzt verspeisen wird. Wir haben Zeit, musikalisch den Jimi und seine Band zu hören.
Would you care for peace? Oh, you want us to do that?
What?
Oh, you want us to say that?
No,
Okay.
well, you just...
Okay, we'll do it. Do you want us to do this, Chas?
Yeah.
What shall I say?
He's just closing. He says something and okay.
Okay.
Study hard and learn, and whatever you learn now, nobody can take while you grow up and so forth. And continuation, speech cut number 6. Achtung, abgebrochen, jawohl.
Well, it's like, you know, the best thing to do now, like, is, you know, going to finish schooling. Really, it does seem like a drag, because I remember I used to be in school and all this, you know, and the flies used to fly around me on a hot summer day. But it's best, man, just to stick with it, you know. As far as, and, yeah, and, like, for instance, all this drugs and all this mess, you know, like pills and stuff. Well, just don't let nobody sell you any bad stuff, that's all. Don't let, no, you better not do that. Do it over again, man.
No, I've cut that.
Okay, you know, just don't let everybody, you know, pull the leg on you, because, you know, half the people don't know what drugs and everything is nowadays anyway, you know. And it's a very bad thing, you know, especially when you get caught with it, you know.